Hey everybody, just getting in here. Just 1 second. We do have a tornado warning, and I know I just posted encouragement, but these little spin-ups, they are possible. Let's go ahead, get this out to you here. Just 1 second. Tornado warning. Let me see what National Weather Service said. Okay, so I see it right what they're talking about. They're just northwest of Elizabeth. This is heading towards Glenmora. This is a what I would refer to as a spin-up tornado. Um, these typically are pretty brief and transient. They come and go, but let's take a look at what we have and who's in that warning right now. Alrighty. Got the picture up, but I need the text. All right, so tornado warning until 9:30. This is for Southwest Rapides Parish. This is a storm capable of producing a tornado near Elizabeth, moving east at 30 miles per hour. And this will be near Glenmora at 9:10, also Union Hill and McNary. So if you're in those areas, you have this tornado warning in effect right now. This thing spun up pretty quickly. Let's go ahead and take a look at storm relative, and you can see what's causing this warning right here, right in that area. Let me look at base velocity. And yeah, that's a better way to just kind of show you this little surge right here. You got the convergent wind coming in from the southeast. That area right there is what we're looking at. So if you are out along Highway 112, 462, Willis Flat Road, West River Road, Highway 462, that area, you are in that tornado warning right now. Let me circle the worst. Pretty obvious right there. That area between Westport and Bethel. This is going to be just north of Elizabeth. That's where that surge is happening. This is pretty much, we're not seeing the supercells, so this is going to be our only way to see these tornadoes tonight. This one looks like it would be pretty brief. Let me see if we're seeing anything on debris tracker here. Let me go back a few minutes. I don't see anything jumping out at me yet. I would expect that. And there's your latest scan there. So that's going to be crossing right over 112 right now near Willis Flat Road, Doshi Road. Looks like it's going to stay just south of Union Hill, but let's see. Let's move this. It's going to be too close. You definitely need to seek shelter. Down the road, McNary and Glenmora, but what I think is going to happen is this thing is going to kind of get merged in with the line like we've been seeing with most of this stuff. So tornado warning, though, in effect until 9:30. This is for southwestern Rapides Parish, including parts of 165 from around Pawnee Road up to Glenmora. McNary, you're included in this. Forest Hill, not in that warning just yet. Union Hill, mainly just going to be near Union Hill and to the south, and then Bethel, Blanche, Pearl. If you're in these communities, you are in that tornado warning right now. This should stay just north of Oakdale. The worst of this should. So let's go ahead and take a look at the reflectivity. Loads of lightning on these storms up here in Alexandria. It's rocking and rolling here. That front, again, that's the front. I mean, so that's the issue. Behind this, threat goes away. You can get these little quick spin-ups, though, out here along the front. And when I say quick and little, I'm really kind of diminishing the fact that there could be a tornado there. So I'm just saying these aren't those big long-term supercell tornadoes that are going for, hours on end. So right now, this tornado warning is for southwestern Rapides Parish until 9:30, and if you're in Glenmora, you want to seek shelter, you have a few minutes, but you don't want to wait. Union Hill right now, 112, Highway 112, that's where this is. Let's go to the lake. See, you can't see this up. I mean, I'm looking up at 4,200 feet, and I would look at that and not think anything. This is why you just need the low-level scans on these radars, but it's impossible because you'd need too many of them, and they're like millions and millions of dollars. But this is, I'm looking at 867 feet up here to be technical. And so we can see a lot more of that low-level structure. We're not seeing a traditional supercell thunderstorm here, but in the low levels, we have that turning. Let me look at the debris. I'm going to circle the area where the rotation is right now. That way, when we go over to the debris, if we see a little donut right in there, we see that darker color, that's when we get concerned. And it looks like that area to the east, I don't think that's going to be what we're looking at. Let me see. No, because that that part kind of shot up that way. Seeing what they're saying too, because they have some pretty nifty tools here. But the wind signature on radar definitely showing the potential for, there's rotation in there right now. It's that little circulation right on the front. It's crossing 112 between Elizabeth and Union Hill. If you live out in that area, that's what we're looking at right now. So we have that tornado warning going for another 24 minutes. And of course, we're going to stay with you as this tornado warning is issued. And if you're just tuning in, yeah, about 10 minutes ago, I posted, you might see a spin up tornado, but the chances are dropping. Well, there is that chance, and while the chance is dropping, it's not zero. So that area right there we're watching, you can see all the lightning popping up here in Alexandria right now. It is absolutely rocking and rolling here. Just had a big loud clap of thunder here at the house. But the only warning in the state, I think, yeah, in the state, apart from flood warnings, is this right here in southwestern Rapides Parish, tornado warning. Let me see this. Okay, that's not about that. So let's go into radar. Let's put it in motion. Let's move it in a little bit closer. We'll do that and show you kind of what's been going on. There's your big line of storms. This is now moving into Gina, Ball, Alexandria. We're getting into the worst of the heavy rain and lightning right now. There's the lightning, tons of that. So it's going to be very loud over the next little while. There is our tornado warning that was issued a few minutes ago for southwestern Rapides Parish. This includes Union Hill. This is just north of Elizabeth on 112 toward Union Hill, and then eventually crossing 165, or at least part of this storm will be crossing 165 near Glenmora, possibly near Forest Hill. Forest Hill not in the warning. Glenmora and McNary, you are in the warning. So let's look back at the wind velocities. Base velocity showing this better. It's not a loud signature that's telling me there's definitely something down, and so far, we have not seen that debris showing up. So hopefully this is just a brief scare, and that's all we have here. But if you are in Union Hill, if you're on West River Road, Joe Ray Road, East River Road, Highway 113, 112, you need to be in a safe space, as safe as possible. So this is a tornado warning that goes until 9:30, going to cross out toward 165 there. And I'll put this in motion because you can see Western Rapides Parish is really under the gun right now with very heavy rainfall, maybe some small hail, lots of wind, 30 to 40 mile an hour wind. I'm not saying damaging wind because we don't have warnings for that, and that's not what it's looking like on radar. But once you get into the backside of this stuff, once you're behind that initial wave of this, you're going to be into that cooler, more stable air. So the chance for tornadoes would be confined to if anything could actually develop out of these storms, which has not been happening, or right along that immediate leading edge of this line. That's our only real chance to see this. So if you are in Glenmora, if you're in Union Hill, I want you to seek shelter right now. I'm going to pause this, go in on the wind. Actually, this is just so much better on the base velocity right now to see it. So this is now across 112. That's your rotation right there. Again, if we see the greens and reds right up against each other, that's when I think we have a much worse scenario kind of playing out. Right now, that almost looks like a little bit of a Boeing surge right there, where we're just getting a pretty good surge of wind coming through across 112 and then toward 113. And right now about to West River Road and East River Road. And then down the line here, let's see how far that is. Roughly 7-8 miles from Glenmora and McNary. And that's when it'll cross 165. This warning goes until 9:30, so another 21 minutes. No updates here yet on that. You've got wind on 113. Okay, all right. These are useful reports. Thank you. Wind is kicking near the crossroads of 112 and 113. So that is right down here, right where in Union Hill, right where that warning is right now. Now you can see the strongest velocity signature. The thing I've been watching is down here, but there's a little something up there as well. I mean, so that's the problem with these lines. You'll get these little kinks and little surges, little discontinuities along the line, and when that happens, that's when you can get these things to spin up and cause something. And I mean, they can go between radar scans. This thing could spin up for 30 seconds, and we'd never know what happened. I mean, you just have to look at this and say, okay, that's a favorable scenario for something to develop, because as we follow, remember earlier I was drawing that line, and it was like a straight, just, well, now look at this, and you can see these little kinks in that line and little surges like that. It's still very straight down here toward Elizabeth, but those areas right there, that's where we do see that threat for these quick tornadoes to spin up and cause some problems between Union Hill and Glenmora. So right now, very loud over a large part of the area. If you're, I know sometimes you get an alert if you're in the parish with the tornado warning. If you're anywhere outside of this red box, if you're up in DeVille, Boise, Salt, you're not under a tornado warning. This is down here for this area, this very small area of Rapides Parish where that signature is showing up on radar. And I'm not seeing it again on Lake Charles. Nothing. I mean, I know I won't see it on Shreveport, but I'll prove it to you. Then we go into this. It's about to get loud here. Just saw the big flash outside. And that surge right there is why we have a tornado warning going on for another 19 minutes in southwestern Rapides Parish. Here comes the lightning and the heavy stuff into town. You can see a lot of that lightning lagging behind the front of the storm here. So it's back here closer to where that big updraft would be with this. And we have lots of lightning out there from Athman through Gardner, Boyce, Lena, Ball, all through Grant Parish. It's going to be a loud hour or two. Lightning that doesn't touch the ground but gets pretty close. Surrounded you like a bubble? Was it like ball lightning? Or because there is such a thing as that. That can, I don't know. That's odd. Wind and hail out by LSUA. Okay. All right. So this is the area, and you can see that little hook on radar. Again, not one of those that we look at and see a definite crazy signature on, but we certainly do see something going on here as this moves through Union Hill toward Glenmora and McNary, about 6-7 miles west of that area right now, west of Glenmora right now, and that's why that tornado warning is, it's why your phone's lighting up right now, and probably why you're watching. So I'll put this in motion. You can kind of see the evolution over the, I'm going to cut this down to a half hour. All right, so, and you can just see how that kind of moved through right there. That's your little circulation. Westport, that area just south of Union Hill, now moving toward Glenmora. Getting reports in here in the chat of all the wind. Fort Johnson, you're behind this. So you're in the, not in the clear, you're in the non-severe side of things. Front out here, behind the front, behind this big batch of storms here, it quickly turns non-severe. But this area right here where that tornado warning is, you can even see, doesn't look like there's much going on in radar. It's really running the northern edge of that warning. But it's very clear as day that that's what they're warning right there. Doop, doop, doop. Yep. So let's take a look at this. Okay, see something there. Let me see if that's, I don't think that's a tornado. That looks kind of linear right along the front of it. Doesn't have the shape. Looks like that's just picking up some junk out there, maybe some birds getting shoved along with the outflow or something, but that did not look tornadic to me. Let me see on that north end what that is. On the north end, that's a little more suspect. So again, we don't have confirmation, but we do have a tornado warning in effect for southwestern Rapides Parish. This goes until 9:30. It's kicking up and loud over a large part of the area right now. You can see on reflectivity, big-time loud storms going on from Alla, Gina, through Pollock and Dry Prong, down through Alexandria, Pineville, Ball, west toward Heinzton, Elmer. You guys are all, you're getting plastered with this stuff. Beauregard Parish looking pretty good. They kept the tornado watch going out to the west for now. They did trim some of these counties back out in Texas, but I think Sabine, most of Vernon, you're looking pretty good right now as temperatures have cooled off and we've lost some of that instability. But a small tornado warning down here in southwestern Rapides Parish. This is going to include Glenmora. This is going to include Union Hill, that Highway 113, 112 area. Such a kind of a hot spot for this stuff, it seems like. Seems like you guys are always getting smoked down in southwest Rapides. That this is going to come in from the west toward Glenmora. Maybe pushing just north of town. So don't sleep on this one, Forest Hill. I don't know if they're going to extend the warning or not, but just because you're just slightly out of the warning doesn't mean that you're completely safe with this, because this is a pretty quickly evolving situation. So if you are in Forest Hill, Longleaf, McNary, Glenmora, you want to go ahead and seek shelter right now if at all possible. So looks like they just added a few parishes to the tornado watch. Let me see what they added. They added Avoyelles. And, okay, so they just added Avoyelles, I think, from what I'm seeing here. But the warning is obviously more what we're watching right now. But yeah, Avoyelles added to that tornado watch right now. But Allen and Evangeline not. So that's a little bit of good news for you. This is what we're watching here. This is a system that has been tornado warned now for about 15 minutes, I guess, and this is continuing to push and surge on toward the east as that whole area of thunderstorms moves from west to east, or that whole front moves from west to east, and those storms are going to run up to the north-northeast along that boundary. Oh, whoa, 59 new comments. I'm way behind. Tornado warning, okay. Alexandria by the River Buckeyes prom is tonight. Well, the front is just about through, so we're going to cool off pretty quickly. And when that happens, let's see, it's down to 70. We were up to, after dark here, at 6:15 it was 77. At 7 o'clock it was 76. Now we're down to 70. So it's 70, dew point 68. We should fall probably a few more degrees in the next few minutes. And I'm just looking at the camera right now just to see if I see anything. And it's just a lot of rain and lightning. So I would not, if they can hang out there for another hour or so, I would do that, because you don't want them leaving in this. It's nasty, especially if they're going to be heading down to the south. But big time thunderstorms over most of the area here, over LaSalle, Southern Grant, most of Rapides Parish, at least central and western, and then our tornado warning down here for this cell that whoa, a lot of lightning showing up on that camera. For this cell right here, and you can see those greens kind of coming back in a little bit closer on that. Let's see how it looks. See that? Yeah, they're going with a new tornado warning now. Okay, so this one is going to be, let me get you the text on this one. New tornado warning. This does include Forest Hill. That's why I was saying I wanted you to go ahead and seek shelter there. Tornado warning for south central Rapides Parish until 9:45. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was near Glenmora, moving east at 35. This is a couple miles west of Glenmora, to be specific. It's going to be near Glenmora now. Forest Hill around 9:25, which, 8 minutes. So seek shelter now. Other locations, Forest Hill and McNary. Other locations, LeCount and McNary. And this includes Interstate 49 between mile markers 63 and 72. So that's a mile south of the Woodworth exit. You're not in at Woodworth, but if you live on the south side of town, you certainly do want to pay attention to this one. I mean, everyone should pay attention to it. If you're in the parish, I just want to let you know, who has to really be concerned with this and who this is more an afterthought to. So up here in Alexandria, this one does not look like a threat, but south of town, south of Woodworth, that's where it really looks like this storm is causing some problems. Let's look at let's see. See that thing, that line of stuff went away. I'm looking out there west of Forest Hill to see. I think that's too far north. Yeah, that wouldn't be a tornado. So so that's the area that we're watching. This is going to eventually cross 49. It's going to cross 71. It's going to cross 165. And when I say it, I mean the storm. I'm not saying that it is a tornado right now, but this that surge of wind at least could cause some problems. Let me get back to Facebook so I can see the comments here. All right. So this is the only, I see all the questions about specific locations and stuff. We're going to focus on the tornado warning right now. Circulation looks a little bit weaker, but and when I say circulation, I mean the thing showing up on radar. I don't mean that we have a tornado on the ground. So for the next couple of hours, it's going to be loud where it's loud right now for the most part. I mean, if you're on the western back of this here, then it's going to be ending for you. But here in Alexandria, it's going to be pretty loud. I don't expect a lot of, I really, we could see a severe warning still, but it looks like this is going to be our main kind of thing we're watching here is that front edge of this line and then this tail end right here. That's where we're seeing the spin in the atmosphere. And that's right there. You can see, I mean, it's a very straight line right here. Then you get up here. And that thing just kind of, you see that notch right there. And that's why we have a tornado warning that goes until now. Let me see, I think I said 9:45. I can click it. 9:45 for Rapides Parish. This goes out to I-49 from south, like 3 miles south of the Forest Hill exit to a mile south of the Woodworth exit. And then on 165, basically from south of town where you get out of the city limits of Woodworth and then down to the southern end of Glenmora, close to the Allen Parish line, but not quite there. So give you an idea of where it is. Union Hill, you're through the worst of this now. I think this would be where that surge of wind and rain and all that stuff is going to be. Just checking to see. I have friends in Union Hill, so I'm making sure that I don't see... hold on. Yeah. So tornado warning continues there. This is about to cross over 165. It's getting close there. We'll take you... There's another update, and you can see that little circulation showing up there. It's not the strongest thing we've ever seen, but this could produce a tornado as this moves now just north of Glenmora. It looks like toward Forest Hill, Longleaf, that area right there between where you get that little bump up to 65 miles per hour between McNary and Forest Hill there. So that few mile stretch there, that's where this is going to cross, or it's going to cross right over Forest Hill at 112. So right in town there, right on the south end of town. So if you're in that area, you want to go ahead and seek shelter right now. Again, this one is not the it's not like those supercells we were seeing up in Arkansas where we knew looking at it, we had debris being vented out 20,000 feet up, and it was a really, really solid circulation on radar, but it does not take a strong tornado to cause big problems. So seek shelter for me. If you are in a trailer, I want you to get to the most central location. If you're anywhere, central location, as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Trailer homes, RVs, and stuff like that, it's tough to get safe, tough to get really safe with these things, but you're going to want to do your best and just get between you and those, get as many walls between you and the outside as you can. If you have a bike helmet or something, toss it on, get some blankets and pillows, and just hang out in a safe area if you possibly can. So, yeah, right now this is the only warning we have. It's loud. You probably hear the thunder popping out here. So I'm glad to see all these. Yes, we're good. We're fine. All that stuff. Got windy in Union Hill, but nothing serious. Thank you, Jesus. I agree. All right. So here goes that circulation right there. That's the one we've been watching. Looks a little bit weaker than it did a few minutes ago, but it's definitely worth a warning and worth keeping a close eye on. And, we're not going to go anywhere until that warning is gone. And I'm just sitting there. I mean, you saw this. If you tuned in the beginning, I was live with this thing within like 30 seconds. I just have to sit down and hit the button. If I'm walking through the house, here I am. And it's not a big problem to make that happen. So here's the reflectivity. This is your traditional look at radar. And we can take off those lightning strikes. I'll take it out and do a big view. I'm actually going to take the warnings off. We're just going to go straight radar for the last hour. I wonder how loud that is when that happens. I'm sure you can hear it. All right, so this is the last hour. You can see this line moving a little bit more slowly than it had earlier, but still making some progress to the east. This will, in most cases, just be loud, lots of heavy rain, tons of lightning and thunder. But in some cases, again, we get that little possibility for a quick spin up, and we have that right now moving in toward Forest Hill and eventually down the line LeCount. Now, like I said, we want to take this seriously, but this is not one of those where I'm looking at it and my heart's pounding because I'm nervous that it's going to take out towns, because this one right here, right now, in the last couple of scans, it doesn't look nearly as dire as this comes across 165. So if you are in that area right now, strong winds are possible. There is the threat for a possible tornado out of this. There's still a warning until 9:30, and it's going to be real loud. But that signature right now on radar, I think they're going to keep the warning going. If they just saw that, I don't think they would be issuing new warnings on that. And you know how it goes here. I'm just going through and looking at everything and seeing what we have going. And really, down here where the worst part of this storm is, the funny thing is, that's not where we have a lot of lightning going on right now. So it's just the way it works, how the convergence and how all these little things act together, all these little micro issues we have, they come together. And sometimes it's going to form on that southern flank, and we're not going to have the strongest updraft or the strongest thunderstorm or the loudest thunderstorm right there. 2 miles from Plainview, heavy warning. Yeah, we're trying to push this on out of here. Latania, you're about to get smoked by a pretty good thunderstorm, but right now I would say the tornado threat is pretty darn low from what I'm seeing. Still have that warning, so we're still going to go ahead and treat this seriously. I'm not going to ever give an all clear while a warning is out, but yeah, that right there, that's the area we've been watching. Let's go back a little bit. I'll show you the evolution of this. That's when we were more concerned right there. And then you can see it kind of looking like it's washing out. We're separating out those greens and reds there. We're not seeing that couplet where it came together and briefly looked like we probably, if we didn't have a tornado, it was close, because back then we were only about 800 feet off the ground looking at this. Now we're at 1,300 as it moves further away from the radar. So that tornado warning goes all the way up to Lamourie, LeCount, that area, and then basically, you know, I know my family's watching, so Miss Janice, Mr. Billy, if you're up around the feed mill, that's where they live, right in that area. They're on that corner of the tornado warning. If you're up there, I don't see a big problem right now. I'm watching it closely, but I'm keeping an eye on it. You know, I'll call you in the middle of this if it gets too crazy. But that right there is a pretty messy signature, and I hope they let this warning expire here in a few minutes. That would be lovely. Up in town, it's going crazy right now. It's loud, it's lightning. It's let's take a quick look at the camera. That's Natchitoches right there. 59 degrees, dew point 57. That's why their severe threat has dropped a great deal. 69 degrees in Alexandria with a dew point of 67. Winds have swung around. I don't trust my wind sensor there, so we're not even going to really look at that. But northwesterly winds for the most part now at 5 to 15 miles per hour as you get into the backside of this storm. We're looking more northwest right now, and lots of lightning going on. A lot of heavy rain, so it's going to be tougher to see those cloud-to-ground strikes because they're obscured by rain. They're kind of just back in the midst of that, but you can kind of get the idea here. That is nasty weather, and I'm actually going to move this back to my western view. And that way we can see the traffic and if lights go off or anything like that. But that's going to take a second. Let's go back to radar where we have that tornado warning for southwestern Rapides Parish. Forest Hill, LeCount, you're in the warning. Woodworth, you're on the north end of it. It's mainly on the south side of town. But as I said, or as I have been saying, this signature does not look quite as great as it did just a few minutes ago. So I think, the hope would be that this thing goes away and we don't have any reports of tornadoes, but it's going to be loud for the next little while as this line of storms works through. That front, let's see if we can pick that out still. Yeah, just east of Alexandria, that's coming down right there. That's along that line is where it is. There's still that little bump there, so it's possible we get another little surge of wind to come out and perhaps produce or try to produce a spin-up tornado. Lots of lightning. You don't want to be outside in this. If the kids have prom tonight, just watch the radar app. Let this stuff get through. You can get that on the Cenla weather app there, and you can watch this. Hold on. Okay. Ooh, I saw that one. It's gonna get loud. So I saw that. I see that there's prom. I don't know what time it gets out or anything, but nobody should be walking to a car in that kind of lightning right there. You can see, just let's go over Northern Rapides, Grant, and just in this immediate area. In the last 15 minutes, we have 571 lightning strikes. And just as a frame of reference, let's measure. 70 miles across, 50 miles, so 3,500 square miles. We're getting a strike every, and half of this isn't in it. So we're getting a couple of strikes every square mile out there. So you want to go ahead and be careful in these areas where that lightning is really popping right now. And that is all over most of Rapides. Oh, got to take the distance tracker off, clear it, and here is your tornado warning. Continuing now, it looks okay. They are about to cancel the warning. That's a secret. They just talked about it in here. So that warning's about to go away, and that is some... I don't know why I say stuff like that. That's good news. Like there's ever going to be someone who's like, that's terrible news. The tornado warning's gone. But tornado warning's about to be canceled. Other than that, it's really, really loud. But loud does not hurt, lightning can hurt you, but loud does not hurt us. We will be fine with the loud. We can handle that. And the rain, we have not had a ton of rain here lately. The rain has been crazy up north, but over these last few days, we've been doing okay. Now, this could drop a couple of inches of rain easy. Let me see in the last 3 hours what we've done with this. And yeah, so in the last 3 hours, these are your rainfall estimates. 2-ish. If you're in the yellow, it's like 2 to 3. But it looks like we're not seeing those really, really high totals. We're not getting this to train for hours and hours. So you may get a solid 1 to 3 inches of rain in short order, but I don't think we're going to see any crazy, crazy flooding problems for most of us. Yes, there are flood warnings now for northern parts of Sabine, Natchitoches, and parts of Wind Parish, but down here where the really heavy stuff is right now, we're not seeing that. Let me look at this storm down here that's moving in from the south toward toward Glenmora. Yeah, I don't see anything that's... Yeah, basically I want to make sure I'm not getting off the air and then getting back on in like 5 seconds, because that wouldn't make any sense. No, I don't think so. That storm just north of Oakdale, that's right along the front. So again, if we see something happen like this, it's probably going to be right along that boundary. But I am going to get out of here for right now. Let's see, Pineville High School Theater should be ending. Hope all... Yeah. Everybody, I mean, all I can do is tell you what's happening. I can tell you, you know, now we have this in our pockets. We can see what's going on and everything. I would recommend everybody just kind of staying put, not because I think there's going to be crazy tornadoes or anything, but because we're in this and there's a lot of lightning. I mean, we have 879 strikes. Let's go up the line here. 1385, maybe a little less than we had earlier, but still, you know, 1,500 strikes of lightning if we look across the state in the last 15 minutes. So that's 100 a minute, and most of them are happening right around here. So if you can wait it out until you kind of get in this little lull back here, do that. There's still more coming behind this, but that's in the cooler air. That's in the more stable air, and that's when we're not going to see the same threat for tornadoes for sure. In fact, I think it's just going to be a lot of rainfall, maybe some small hail, but that would be about it. I'm still waiting to go on and do whatever we need here. We're going to get through this couple more hours and it's all gone. If you're out in Manny, Natchitoches, you're looking much better. And Leesville, although it's still pretty loud, you're pretty good too. Beauregard Parish, I think you're also getting closer to being in the clear. 2 inches of rain per hour in the Prospect community. Thank you, sir. They get all these little updates. I love it. I love the information. It's why I started all this. I wanted the observations. I wanted the cameras and all that stuff. The mic's doing the thing again. I think I was just kind of lazy and coming back off of it like that. All right, I'm going to get out of here. For now, no warnings in place, but if a warning is issued, I will be back quickly, or if I see something worth talking about. I'll see you.
In the event of a water damage emergency, call PuroClean of Cenla.